Welcome to the Best Counsel, aka Advice I Can Offer podcast. First, I would like to make the following disclaimer. This is not an advice podcast. I do not offer advice. I offer what I consider to be counsel. Counsel is what I have learned and what I have experienced in my life journey. If something I say on this podcast resonates with you and can help you, good. But I am not telling you what to do. I am just offering counsel. 7 things every married couple should know. Hi, I am the Reverend Cornelius Brown, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Best Counsel podcast series, 7 things every married couple should know. For those of you who don't know my background and why I chose to do this podcast series, on May 21st, 2020, I and my wife Terry will be blessed to celebrate 39 years of marriage. Also, I have over 35 years of ministerial experience. I have performed over 200 weddings in my 35 years of ministry. I've counseled easily over 200 couples in my 30 plus years of pastoral work. Although I don't know everything about marriage, no one does, still, I do believe there are several things that I believe every married couple and anyone thinking about getting married should know. The first episode of this series is entitled Marriage is for Adults Only. The first person I ever heard use the phrase marriage is for adults only was the late Reverend Jesse James Hawkins. Reverend Hawkins told me this statement over 40 years ago, but it stays with me every day because it reminds me that even after 38 years of marriage, marriage is for grown folk, not for children or people with childish behavior. I have learned in 38 years, it's okay to have fun with my wife and mate. But I have learned to be careful of playing too much. As adults, we need to learn and know that it's okay to have fun, but understand we have to be careful of playing around too much. Because when grown folks play around too much, eventually somebody gets hurt. Childish behavior will kill a marriage. What do I mean when I say childish behavior? Childish behavior is a temper tantrum. Young children throw temper tantrums when they don't get their desires or their ways. But a grown-up person should not be running around after you don't get your way or your desire with your arms folded, with your head cocked to the side, lip poked out, and you're crying like a baby. Or you're not talking to anybody at all. Childish behavior is when you think, let me change that, when you know it's all about you. You always have to be the center of attention for your mate and everybody else. God forbid someone and some of you even want to be the center of attention over your own child. Childish behavior is when you are never wrong, even when you are dead wrong. You still think you are right. And add this one. You don't know how to say you are sorry because you have never done anything wrong. Now, I know my examples might seem a little extreme for some, but a whole lot of you know grown folk who act like this. In 1 Corinthians 13 in the Bible, in what is called the love chapter, I love the fact that in the Bible that the love chapter in that 11th verse talks about when I was a child, I thought like a child. I acted like a child. But in that verse it says, but when I became a man or a woman, I put away childish things. Marriage is for adults only, because to have a successful and enjoyable, I said enjoyable marriage, you have got to do what adults do. You have to leave childish things behind. Getting your way. Grown folk know to get along with your mate, sometimes you have to say, yes, dear, or yes, honey, even when you know it's not what you want. But sometimes you have to also be able to receive and say no and still be a loving husband or wife. No is also a part of marriage. Grown folk know that sometimes you have to be able to say you're sorry, even though it may take 3 days. Oops, I'm getting ahead of myself. The 3-day rule is the next episode I'm going to talk about. Marriage is the best thing next to knowing God that ever has happened to me. But after 38 years into my marriage, I understand that my top 2 jobs are this. Number 1, to serve the God that I love. But number 2, above all else, is to work on my marriage. Marriage takes work. That's why it's for an adult. You have to start working on your marriage day 1, and I have learned that you still have to work on your marriage after 38 years and counting. Marriage should be the best job you ever had. Not only the best job, but a job you love. Because I can tell you, it's worth everything you have to put into it if you put into it. I want to get ready to conclude this episode, but I want to remind you of this. And I'm a biblical guy. The Bible in 2 Corinthians 6:11 talks about not being unequally yoked. What that means is a grown-up should not marry a child, because a marriage is not about you being someone's mother or father. It should be about being a mate and a partner. Just like you do not give something that you know a child cannot handle, you should not put a childish person into a marriage, because marriage is for adults only. I hope you will join me next week for episode 2 of this 7-part series, Everything a Married Couple Should Know. Join me next week for the 3-day rule. I believe it will be enlightening to you. Take care, and I look forward to talking with you soon. And if something I said encouraged you, share it with someone you care about. And follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter at The Best Counsel. Or visit us at our website at thebestcounsel.com.